The UFC, home to some of the world's greatest empty-handed fighters. Well, not according to a lot of the interactions I've had on YouTube in the last couple of months. For them, this...
Oh, big right! Anderson's down and out!
...is absolutely fake. While this... it's totally believable. But this...
beautiful power shots from Son Kanan. He's got to be careful here. Calipota's hurt. He goes down.
doesn't prove the efficacy of a fighter's ability to handle themselves. Whilst this... is conclusive proof that a Tai Chi master can defeat you easily and mustn't be questioned. So if you're fighting, if you're training like this...
Make me believe. Come on. Hey, come on. Hey, come on. Hey, yep, come on. Let's go.
You're just absolutely wasting your time if you want to be able to handle yourself on the streets. What you want is more training like this. Which is essential and effective training against mugging attempts on the mean streets of Hackney. Yeah, as if he's ever offended off anyone, let alone muggers. Can't even fight a cardboard box. So the argument we always get is that in a real fight, there's no refs, there's no rules, and all these kind of kung fu martial arts techniques suddenly show up and end the fight in seconds. But here's the thing. It never happens. Whenever you see a kung fu fighter in a video fighting, it looks like bad kickboxing or even worse, wrestling. Or if it goes to the ground, they show that they know absolutely nothing about ground fighting whatsoever. You know, show me the footage of Krav Maga fighters taking on 6 people and using their slappy handy things to incapacitate all of them. Don't happen. Whenever you see a Krav Maga person fighting, it looks very much like an MMA fight using the same sort of techniques that MMA fighters use. In fact, a lot of the MMA style training and fighting techniques have all of a sudden showed up in Krav Maga over the years. Guess why? Because it's effective and it works. Like, I get it, cage fighters, when you're fighting in a cage, there's rules. You can't eye gouge, you can't knee to the groin, you can't knee to the head, although there are organisations where you can knee to the head. But here's the thing. You go, well, I just poke him in the eye. Like, outside of the cage, like, they can poke you in the eye, they can knee you in the head on the floor, they can strike your groin. And the difference being that they also know how to properly fight. So you're doubly screwed. The idea that you're just going to kick someone in the testicles and they're going to just drop to the floor and not carry on is pure fantasy. And even though it happens in MMA, that's because they can stop the fight and they can, regain their composure. But you do it in the street and they're just going to carry on. And now you've got a pissed off professional fighter trying to take your head off. It wouldn't be a good place to be. I'm going to tell this story again. I've told it in my first video, but it's a long video and I haven't got regular viewers enough that are going to go, I've heard this one before. So when I first started MMA, I was quite confident in my abilities. I'd had a few street fights since starting my martial arts training. I'd worked on the doors, did pretty well there. I'd never been beaten up properly. I'd always come out on top on all of the altercations I'd had. And I kind of got into MMA by accident. Now, I did all right against most of the people in the class, but most of the people in the class weren't training that hard. As soon as you got to people that were taking it serious, then I'd start to struggle, especially when it comes to groundwork. When it came to that, I was a fish out of water. I thought I knew what I was doing. Really didn't. By the time you get to the professional fighters, the ones at the top, the ones who've been doing it a while, taking it really seriously, it was a whole different game altogether. And it shattered my like delusion that it is different on the streets. Like I wasn't stupid enough to think that I could fight a professional cage fighter and actually win, but I still had this idea in my head that, you know, I've trained to a high level. I'll give him a good fight. No. Like the first time I sparred my instructor properly, it was just before Christmas at a classes. There was only me, one other guy, and he was with his kid, and they were doing stuff in a corner somewhere. And my instructor, who I'd known for years, like as a kind of, you know who he is and sort of say hello to. And he just gave me a knowing look, and he said, "About time we sparred, isn't it?" And yeah, got a pair of boxing gloves each, and it wasn't full contact, but it was like the agreed focus that we were trying to hit each other and hit each other properly. And, you know, if we caught each other, it was like my instructor said, "Look, just stop, don't obviously go in for the kill," which obviously I never would have done, but some people get emotional and just don't know when to stop. So it was not full contact, but with proper force. And it started, the sparring, he was catching me, but I still felt comfortable enough. As soon as he came in for a proper takedown, like I could defend sort of single leg, double legs, all right. As soon as got a body lock, no chance whatsoever. And he's just getting me down. And once I was down, I had no idea what I was doing at all whatsoever, despite like all the different seminars I've been to before doing MMA in the past, where you get taught techniques and you think, "Oh, I know what I'm doing." No. And it made me look a joke. I was tired before I knew it. Even like going back to stand up, like he was just picking me apart. And as soon as you mix in all of those levels, the stand up, the clinching, the grappling, the groundwork, it was quite obvious that I was an absolute like basic beginner. And he said to me afterwards, "Yeah, the one thing you can take away from this, and it is the one thing, is that you didn't panic, you were quite relaxed." Well, I knew I was in a safe training environment. But yeah, the realization, the levels, the difference in ability was just absolutely massive. And yeah, I think a lot of the reason why this myth persists that it's different in the streets is because people have never experienced the kind of difference in skill level for themselves. Well, that, and they believe that a guy can pop his back and make someone fly across the room. And if you don't agree that it's plausible, then you obviously don't know the basics of Tai Chi. So yeah, that's my thoughts. I've got some other thoughts on the difference between MMA and street fighting that I'll probably do another video on soon. But for now, if you think MMA doesn't apply to street fighting, you're deluded. Catch you soon. Thanks for watching.